Well, you can see the sign. They got Calico written on the...
Oh, come on, this is so cool. I know this is a ghost town, but I would love to visit this. Even ghost towns in America are beautiful. That's crazy. What's up, my friend? Today I'll be reacting to top 10 ghost towns in America. This should be an interesting video, but before I go into that, can I ask you for one thing? If you can leave a like on this one, thank you so much for that, my friend. This is the best way to show support. If you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. You guys end up recommending this video quite a lot. I don't know what to expect. Ghost towns in America is a concept that I'm not aware. But yeah, let's play it. By the way, link for the original video in my description.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the world according to Briggs.
Hey.
I am Briggs, and I kind of like my neighbors. In my old house, I didn't really like my neighbors, but I like my neighbors. Do you hate your neighbors? A study published by Home...
No, I don't hate my neighbors. I mean, to be honest, so similar to him actually, in my old house, my neighbors made so much noise. I was going crazy. But where I live now, everything is fine.
In my old house, I didn't really like my neighbors, but I like my neighbors. Do you hate your neighbors? A study published by Home.com showed that 30% of all Americans dislike their neighbors and have had, at a minimum, a full-blown argument with said neighbors. Another 40% said they avoid their neighbors, while 10% said they would like to do the nasty with the neighbor's spouse. A lot of people wish they could live in a ghost town for these reasons: no one to fight with, avoid, or catch stooping your wife. Sort of like the people that prefer to live in the secluded towns in my past video series. Ghost towns are sprinkled all over the United States, with a few states like Colorado having so many they'll get their own video in this series. This is one of those videos that people have been asking for a while, and I like to keep you guys happy, seeing that without you, I'm just some dude that travels, films, and says stupid crap. Ghost towns happen for a multitude of reasons. Most commonly, they had some sort of industry like mining or manufacturing that for whatever reason went away. With no way to make money, people leave, hence a ghost town. Unless you're of course Thurman, West Virginia, they got no jobs and they got 5 residents hunting squirrel or something, or moonshine. I don't know what they're doing there, but they're still living there. So why don't we find out where these vacant towns are and how they became vacant in my top 10 ghost towns in America.
Okay, let's see it.
Number 10, Centralia, Pennsylvania. In 1962, Centralia was a bustling coal mining town that had just experienced a fire in one of their coal mines. No big deal, life went on. In 1979, locals started becoming aware of some weird things happening around there, like, smoke coming out of the ground, cracks in the ground, things like that. But the scale of the problem really wasn't known till a gas station owner, who was also the mayor at the time, John Coddington, inserted a dipstick into one of the underground tanks to check fuel levels. When he withdrew it, he noticed it was kind of hot. He lowered a thermometer into the tank on a string and was shocked to find out that the temperature of the gasoline in the tank was about 172 degrees Fahrenheit. Today,
oh, that sounds so dangerous. What? Okay, this is crazy. I actually believe I saw something related with this in another video. Basically, this town is on fire on the ground, if that makes sense, right?
That the temperature of the gasoline in the tank was about 172 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, the fire still burns. In 1981, Centralia was condemned by the state and the city was evacuated. A few stubborn residents still reside in Centralia. The state has allowed them to live the rest of their lives out there. However, once they pass, their property will be claimed by eminent domain. In 2017, 5 homes and about 6 or 7 people remained. You can go see it now, but I'm sure eventually it'll be closed off. Not sure how, but they will stop people from going to Centralia eventually.
Okay, well, that's crazy, to be honest. What's going on?
Number 9, Banic, Montana. Banic was founded in 1860 as a gold mining town and was actually the Montana Territory capital for 1 year. They moved the capital to Virginia City, another mining town that wasn't as remote and also didn't have a sheriff that was running a gang that robbed and dispatched people heading west. Yeah, that was a thing. The sheriff's crime spree came to an end like most criminals back in the Old West. Let's just say it involved a rope. At its peak, Banic had a population of about 10,000 people. This was one of the longest standing mining towns in Montana. Most of the residents had left by 1950, and the last residents actually left in 1970, so not terribly far back. Today, the state has made Banic an official state park with more than 50 buildings still standing. This place looks like a place a Western was filmed. And
yeah, I was thinking about that. Looks kind of beautiful, to be honest, my friends.
Younger people that have no idea what a
Oh, come on, this looks so beautiful. I would love to visit this ghost town if I could.
Western is, think Clint Eastwood back in the 1970s. Go ahead and Google it. Put it on pause and go ahead and Google it. Number 8, Old Cahaba, Alabama. Cahaba was Alabama's first state capital from 1820 to 1825. Again, what is the deal with these towns turning into ghost towns after they moved the state capital? Good thing for the United States, Philly and New York didn't close up shop after they settled on D.C., right? This is Alabama's most famous ghost town. It was used as a trading and transport center for cotton before the Civil War and as a village for slaves after the war. Nearly all the residents had skipped town by 1900, and now it's pretty well maintained. It's a nice place to go visit. There's a lot of videos on it on YouTube. Although the area is no longer inhabited, the Alabama Historical Commission maintains the site as Old Cahaba Archaeological Park. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1973. The town, and later abandoned site, has been the setting for many ghost stories, as you can imagine. Any place that's got this kind of history is gonna have some ghost tales. Kind of like Scooby-Doo, but a little more realistic. A widely known one tells of a ghostly orb that kind of floats around this area that used to be an old garden maze. The old garden maze is no longer there, but apparently the orb is there on Friday the 13th at about I'm just kidding, I don't know when it's there. But anyway, it's supposed to be there, and it's a glowing orb.
Okay, I mean, it seems like there is some dark history related with that region in Alabama, right? I thought the other two towns ended up being a bit more interesting, I have to be honest.
Number 7, Ora, Texas. Ora was a town designed as a stop on the Pecos River Railroad. Of course, after the automobile was invented, the train fell out of fashion and Orla was left to decay. Orla was founded in 1890. The population reached a high of around 250 people when oil, gas, and sulfur brought more workers into the region in the 1960s. Now here's a real oddity. This hardly ever happens to ghost towns. Orla has sprung back to life. I'm not kidding. Back as early as 2014, there were still just old buildings that were run down and a historical site marker. But since 2015 or so, construction companies have moved in and started putting up buildings and warehouses. Oil in the area has brought people back. Now it is still
Okay, but that's a good thing, right, my friends? I mean, why not, bring those towns to life again? You know what I mean? I think that's fine.
Registered as a ghost town, but it has a truck stop and a few other businesses now. It's kind of weird. This place is out in the middle of nowhere. I guess if there's money to be made, people will show up. Money is like teenage boy hormones. It brings you to some really strange places you wouldn't normally go to.
Yeah, my friend, money. Yeah, you guys know.
Number 6, Bombay Beach, California. Bombay Beach became a vacation destination in the 1940s and 50s, and it's in the middle of the desert on what is known as the Salton Sea, which is actually a lake. Families and individuals lived here and vacationed here for many years. After local farmers used the lake for dumping, the water became so toxic that it had a putrid odor to it, and it killed all the fish living in the lake. I mean, all of them. Nothing lives in that lake now. There are boats that were just abandoned and left in the mud. It really looks like all the humans just got up one day and left. This place is an environmental nightmare. You can go there to this
okay, this one is scary.
day and see dead birds that never got the memo about not drinking the water of the Salton Sea.
What?
This was, of course, way too toxic for humans, and quickly most of the residents just moved on. Left their homes there. It's sad. It really is.
Jeez, and scary. Okay, this one, this is the worst so far, I believe it.
By there a few times in my life. Actually, one of the strangest dudes I have ever known in my life, he lived there for a while, like when it was abandoned. Strange guy. Number 5, Goldfield, Arizona. Goldfield was discovered in the late 1800s and had run out of gold before the turn of the century.
Oh, come on. That looks so beautiful. This is a great town, for sure. Does not matter if it's a ghost town, it's a beautiful town.
And as humans do, when there's no gold or pumpkin spice lattes, they move on. An attempt was made to revive the city in 1921 when it was renamed Youngsburg, which sucked. Goldfield to Youngsburg? What genius decided that was a good idea? Probably some dude that...
Oh, come on. This is beautiful to me, my friends. Not sure if this video the idea is to make you afraid or something, but I'm finding those towns beautiful. See, even ghost towns in America, I love them. It's crazy.
Been out in the sun too long without a hat or sunblock and was getting all dizzy and said, "Oh, we name it Youngsburg or something," and then it stuck. In reality, it didn't matter. It was abandoned once again just 5 years later in 1926. In 1940, the U.S. military was training in the area and started a grass fire that burned half the town down. Today, it's a tourist attraction with a museum, saloon, and more. There's actually a guy that's considered the mayor of the town, but there's no real residents, so I find that strange. Talk about giving yourself a title. If we're out giving out titles, I'm the king of YouTube, by the way, if anyone's asking.
I'm the king of my house. Not really. My wife is the queen, but in this case, the queen is above the... okay.
Number 4, Iditarod, Alaska. The town of Iditarod was named after the Iditarod River, not the dog race. On Christmas Day, 1908, prospector John Beaton and Bill Dykeman found gold on Otter Creek, a tributary to the Iditarod River. And of course, when stories of gold or pumpkin spice latte start floating around, people show up. Miners started building a gold field, and a small camp was built and later known as Flat. People and supplies traveled to the gold fields by boat from the Yukon River and up the Iditarod River to the current town site. Iditarod first appeared on the 1920 U.S. Census as an incorporated city of just 50 residents. The boom had already played out, so, there was only like 50 people then. At its peak, they suspect it was closer to about 300 people. They're not totally sure. In 1931, it was disincorporated, leaving just a single resident by the 1940 census. Iditarod never appeared on the census again. And no, it's not on any Alaskan cruise. I checked. Number 3, Rhyolite, Nevada. Rhyolite is within Death Valley, and like many ghost towns, Rhyolite was a booming mining town in the early 1900s. In its heyday, the city had a hospital, a stock exchange, and even an opera house. They had about 8,000 residents at one point, but by the 1920s, almost every resident had left thanks to natural and financial disasters. In the 1920 census, they had one resident left, and he was in his 90s. When they asked him why he had never left, he said, "I don't know."
Sorry, I should not even be laughing at that, but maybe the guy has some Alzheimer or something, because that answer is scary. I don't know. You should know, my friend. Oh, man. Okay. Number 2. Let's see it.
Number 2. Thurman, West Virginia. Thurman makes it on back-to-back lists. Good job, Thurman. I don't know why I just said that. The 5 remaining residents will never hear it. I don't think they can get internet. Thurman is located in southwestern West Virginia. The city's purpose was originally being a stop on a rail line and for local mining operations. The city racked up over $4 million in freight revenue over its lifetime. However, when the automotive industry took off, it kind of killed Thurman. Today, a few residents still reside here, but it's still considered a ghost town. I know, it just seems weird. If there's people still living there, it's really not a ghost town, but they still have it.
To be honest, I agree. I mean, if there is one soul there, it's not a ghost town, but I get the point also.
Registered as one. Anyway, moving on. Here's a strange fact about Thurman, if in fact it is a fact. One of the 2 hotels in Thurman, back in the day, is known for being where the longest game of poker ever was played. According to Ripley's Believe It or Not, this card game lasted 14 years. I hope it wasn't a strip poker game. Could you imagine that? I'm sure at some point someone would have yelled, "Come on, lady, I've been at it 5 years and all I've seen is an elbow."
Okay.
And number 1, Calico, California. Here's one I've been to a few too many times in my life, and I don't know why my parents took us there like 3 or 4 times as kids. My younger brother and I believed they were looking for a good place to leave our older sister. Sadly, our dreams never were answered, no matter how many birthday wishes, wishbones, and coins into wells I wasted on it. Calico was a booming new city in 1881 when silver was found in the mines there. By 1890, the town had hit its population peak with about 3,500 residents, and that same year, the Silver Purchase Act was enacted and drove down the price of silver. Calico silver mines were no longer economically viable. Today, It's a historical landmark and tourist attraction. You can pan for gold, take a ride on the Calico-Odessa Railroad, watch people argue in the parking lot, or explore Maggie Mine, the only mine in America that's safe for visitors. That argue in the parking lot thing is something I saw as a kid, and I always remembered it. The couple was having a screaming match in the parking lot with a bunch of people around, and if I remember correctly, the man didn't want to leave and the lady did. I don't know if he wanted to stay like forever or just longer that day. Maybe he wanted...
Looks beautiful to me. You guys, André, that's not beautiful. For me, it is.
To get a cheap home loan. Nothing like having a mortgage on a ghost town, right? Calico these days is mostly used for a backdrop of commercials like Geico and, other type of commercials. But they still get visitors, and you could see it from the highway. So that's, well, you can see the sign. They got Calico written on the...
Oh, come on, this is so cool. I know this is a ghost town, but I would love to visit this. Even ghost towns in America are beautiful. That's crazy.
Hillside, which kind of interesting. I remember seeing that as a kid all the time as we drove by. I'd look for it the whole time we'd drive through the desert. It was weird. All right, so that's my top 10 best ghost towns in America. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got some information out of it.
Fun video, honestly.
I really enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll get a bunch of views and I'll do some more. Anyway, don't forget all the links below. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me a comment. Tell me if...
Actually, I saw when I was searching for this, since you guys ended up leaving a comment for me to react to ghost towns, that this channel also have top 10 ghost towns in Colorado. I believe that's the title. Tell me in the comments with the word Colorado if you want me to react to that. I'll always do this type of polls. I mean, we are at the end of the video. Most of you guys are not watching, but for the ones that are, you guys can decide if you want me to react to that or not. That said, I thought the video was a very relaxed one. Not a lot of things I can add. The Centralia Pennsylvania is a crazy one for sure. This on Montana I thought was a beautiful place, honestly. Alabama, a bit of a dark history. The Texas one, I'm actually happy that he's getting life again. This in California, probably this was the weirdest one, if I'm gonna be honest. Arizona was okay. Alaska was okay. I thought it was a great video overall, my friends. Again, leave a like if you end up enjoying this one. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, my friends, and I'm super happy that you guys spend this time with me. And that's it for today, my friends. Hope you end up enjoying this video. If that's the case, do not forget to leave a like. Also consider to subscribe if you are new to my channel. And also let me remember you about one thing. I have a Patreon community. I put videos there a bit earlier than I put on YouTube. So if you want to support me and have access to early content, go to my Patreon. I will leave a link on my description. Take a look at that. You can also scan the QR code you'll be seeing here. And that's it.